We begin with the latest updates from the Middle East. Tehran has issued yet another warning to Israel as tensions continue to simmer between the regional foes. Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi has warned that the smallest action against Tehran's interests would be met with a severe, extensive, and painful response. Raisi reiterated that Iran's recent missile and drone strike was in self-defense, saying that the operation targeted Israeli bases that were used to carry out the strike in Syria. Iran says a retaliation against any possible Israeli move would come in a matter of seconds, not hours.
If the Zionist regime makes the slightest move to violate our territory and harm the national interests of the Islamic Republic, they must understand that they will face a severe and heavy response. The plan of action for True Promise was a limited operation. It was not a comprehensive and extensive plan. Had it been a much larger action, then the supporters of the Zionist regime would have seen that nothing would have remained of the Zionist regime. But it was decided that this attack should be a first of limited scope. Two, that it should be a response as punishment for the Zionist regime. And third, the targets should be those same places that were used to attack the interests of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
If for any reason the Zionist regime makes the slightest malevolent move against our homeland, our individuals or our interests, it will definitely face a resolute and hard response. As I said, there will be not a 12-13 day gap between a Zionist regime move and Iran's powerful response anymore. The Zionists must now reckon in seconds, not hours.
Over the weekend, Iran launched its first ever direct attack on Israel with over 300 missiles and drones. Tehran says the attack was in response to the April 1st strike on its embassy in Damascus. The strike was a paradigm shift after years of a shadow proxy war. The Israeli military also displayed what it said was a part of an Iranian ballistic missile which was retrieved from the Dead Sea after the attack.
We will respond the way that we will choose at the time that we will choose. We don't just have offensive capabilities who were proven on Saturday night. We have very good. We don't just have defensive capabilities who were proven on Saturday night. We have offensive capabilities, and we will know what to do and when to do and how to do.
It's also the fact that Iran, throughout the course of the years, has been very, very active in our region. But they've been behind the scenes, at backstage. On Saturday night, they came to the front stage, together with their proxies, with Hezbollah, with the Houthis, with Hamas, and operating from Iraq. They have encircled Israel in a ring of fire. That's unacceptable. We need to make sure that they can't be successful in their diabolical intentions.
Israel's war cabinet has concluded a fifth meeting to discuss their response to the attack. In attendance were 3 members of the war cabinet, which includes Prime Minister Netanyahu, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, and Netanyahu's political rival Benny Gantz. Mossad Chief David Barnea and Army Chief of Staff Herzi Halevi were also in attendance.
Iran will not be able to implement a different equation of deterrence against the state of Israel. The Israeli Air Force planes are operating everywhere. The skies of the Middle East are open. Any enemy that will fight against us, we will know how to hit them wherever they are.
Now, the cabinet is asking Netanyahu to avoid triggering a regional war, as relations between the Israeli Prime Minister and the Biden administration is already strained over Gaza. Meanwhile, Israeli allies, the United States and the EU, are looking at imposing further sanctions on Tehran. In the coming days, the Biden administration will impose sanctions targeting Iran's missile and drone program. Entities supporting Iran's IRGC and its defense ministry could also face sanctions as well.
It is an ongoing process of trying to keep tensions in the region, to reduce tensions in the region and try to maintain as much calm as possible, knowing that there is an ongoing conflict that obviously exacerbates tensions in Israel and around the region.
We will increase our outreach with the key partners in the region, and some member states propose the adoption of expand the restrictive measures against Iran, adopting an expansion of restrictive measures against Iran. I will send to the External Action Service the request to start the necessary work related to these sanctions.
Now, the United States will also restrict the movement of the Iranian foreign minister and his delegation as they visit New York on Thursday to join a United Nations debate on Palestine. But like Iran, Prime Minister Netanyahu is also feeling the squeeze, or is he? While international pressure is mounting for Israel to stand down, it is quite clear that a military response will leave the Israeli leader even more isolated. Perhaps the larger question is, does Netanyahu even care? From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on First Post America.